Good morning, people. How are you? Today is Wednesday. I think it's the 10th. Don't quote me on that yet. No, it's the 9th. Oh my God. Today is Wednesday, the 9th of October, 2024. It is dark and early at 6:15 on the west coast of Florida in Tampa. We're okay. We're good. I got the picture of the furry family up here, just for identification purposes, in case you'll be able to when you find us all in the house. You'll be able to pick it'll be easy for you to determine which one's me and which one's the animals, because now you have a picture. You can see. We're fine. I think everything is going to be better. I thank you guys for being as concerned as you are. I really do. I think we're going to be fine. It looks like it has tracked south yesterday at about 4:17-ish. I put this image up. That was my projection. That was before anybody was saying, oh my God, it's made a shift to the south. And as you can see, I wasn't too far off. This is this morning. This is the basic, the agreed upon track that most of them are running with right now. And it has Milton Friedman making landfall as a Cat 3. It doesn't denote that here, but making landfall as a Cat 3, a good ways south of Tampa. Not so far south as I had predicted with my zero meteorological skills. However, I was right. It is making a rather large, so far, track down to the south. And I still think it's going to go further south than this. I think somewhere between Sarasota and Fort Myers now. I know in this, I had Naples in between Fort Myers and Naples. It could still track even further south than that. And people have asked me, how did I come up with this? Did I just make this up? No. What I saw, I just briefly explain this to you. What I saw in the Warble track and what they were showing with all their spaghetti models heading up to here, the thing was making a sudden, 45 degree. If this is 0, then this is 90, then this is. It was all these models in the new spaghetti thing was showing it making a 45 degree fucking path to get to fucking Tampa. But that's not what it was doing. Also, I know it was moving almost perfectly due east. Now then, yesterday evening I saw somebody talking about this new southern shift that it made. And they were showing the latitude and longitude, and I'm not sure which one is which. I'm going to say it's the latitude, but it was a longitude, whatever it was 22.5. And he said at 8 o'clock, no, 5:30, because I posted mine at 4:17. He said at 5:30 that it was on the same 22.5 longitude or latitude since 11 o'clock, which means what I noticed about it at 4:17, they also noticed about it a little bit later, was that instead of doing that when it needed to do that 45 degree shot, it was maybe 5 degrees off bubble, off 0, and headed due east. And I was like, well, why do they keep, as it moves due east, they say, now it's going to go 45 degrees. And it moves due east, now it's going to go 45 degrees. And it moves east, now it's going to go 45 degrees. I'm like, it's not doing that. Why do they keep saying that? Why do they keep showing that? And then so I said, well, And if you notice, all of their models, if you go back and look, the spaghetti models and the history of the spaghetti models, they had it north of Havana and then making that 45-degree trek up here. Well, it was south of Havana, as I've kind of drawn in here. It was south of Havana. It was closer to Cancun and down there. And I was like, why are they? It doesn't make any sense. So I said, you know what? Let me look at some of the older spaghetti models and see if any of them have it making an almost straight 0-degree fucking path due east, and see and staying below the level 22.5 of that Havana zone, whatever it is. I said, let me see if any of the other fucking spaghetti models predicted that. Lo and behold, there were two. One was C-E-M-I-E, or D, or C-D, or whatever the fuck it was. There were two. Two that perfectly predicted exactly what it was doing. So I said, well, where did they end up with it? One of them ended up with it hitting the Keys, and the other ended up with it hitting somewhere closer up in here above Sarasota, or not, just below Sarasota. So, based on that, I said, well, there are the spaghetti models that seem to be, so far, proving to be right. What happens if we just go with them? And the result was I took kind of it's not really an average of the two. It's kind of closer to this one, to the one that was northern, but still a little bit south of that one. So that was my stupid prediction. And so far, it has moved south, the predicted map. But as you can see, once again, now they have it traveling at about a 50-degree or a 55-degree angle to get up to it where it is predicted now. I just find that hard to believe. Whatever was moving it easterly on a almost directly due eastern pattern from 11 o'clock until 8 o'clock yesterday, I think it's still going to have more of an effect on it. Either way, doesn't matter. I am not a meteorologist or psychic. I just said, well, let's look at the fucking spaghetti models from a day ago, this is yesterday, and see if any of them predicted this early stage and the early tracking of the fucking thing, and lo and behold, two of them did. And you can check me on that if you like. You'll see the same thing. So, what does that mean? Well, here's what it means for us. If it holds true and makes landfall where it's at now, where they predict now, which again, Tampa is still in the doom of the cone of doom. And so, of course, it could end up as a Cat 5 slamming right up into the fucking Hillsborough Bay. There's no guarantees. I think it will track further south based on the fact that there were models that were saying what it was doing so far, and they seem to have been right so far, so we'll see. But if it stays true to where it is now, we are, unfortunately for the people in Sarasota, and I used to live in Sarasota and work in Sarasota, so my heart goes out to the people in Sarasota. It's a beautiful little town. If it holds true on its course right now as far as Tampa is concerned, Tampa will be in much better shape. First of all, the tidal surge will be null and void. There'll be a little bit to start off with as it is pushing, but once it gets closer and closer, and once the bands get in, it'll literally be pulling water out of the bay as opposed to shoving water up into it. That's a big, big plus for the people living down there and for anybody in Tampa, because that means if we don't get a tidal surge, 8 to 10 feet, then cleanup will be much easier, and fixing things will be much easier. That's the first thing. The second thing is, for folks like myself inland, I've pointed out before, it's not a secret. I'm not doxing myself. I'm about right there where the cursor is. There will be hurricane strength winds. Of that, there is no doubt. But as the saying goes, there are levels to this shit. There's a big difference between a hurricane category 1 type winds and a hurricane category 4 or 3 type winds. Big difference. Plus, if it makes contact, if it makes landfall where they say it's going to make landfall, we'll be getting the worst, the brunt of it will be on the southern and eastern part of the hurricane, obviously, because it'll pick up speed as it goes through, and it's over the warm waters of the Gulf. It'll dissipate slowly. Won't dissipate, but it'll slow as it comes over land. And of course, if you look at how the thing would work, then it'll be making this kind of thing, and it'll have a long time. Once it gets to here, it'll have a long time to dissipate a little bit. So we'll be still getting 70 to 90 mile per hour wind gusts, hurricane strength wind gusts, which will still be problematic and could, in fact, cost me my little home here, my humble home here, if one of the trees were to fall on this house, which is a possibility. However, it's much better than, say, Category 3 winds. So I feel somewhat relieved. Not super relieved, but somewhat relieved. As best I can, I have prepped the house. I haven't taped the windows yet because, again, there are levels to this shit, and Cat 1 winds are very different than Cat 3 or Cat 4 winds. So as best I can be prepared, I am prepared. The little critters are all happy. They're fine. They're eating like pigs. I'm feeding them well because who knows? We might be catching mice and rodents out in the... Depending on what happens with the electricity and with the internet, certainly the electricity, we might be catching like rodents for... Might have to put them out to go forage, in the debris fields. Like the wasteland. Go out in the wasteland, see what you can get. As best we can be prepared, we are prepared. So I just want you guys to know that. I feel better about it. The neighbors, even though I tried to suggest they should bolt if they could, it seems like all of them are still here. So one is going to stay with ride it out with his sister. But I think for the most part, we're good. I'm just concerned about about the power and so forth. I'll be when, I don't want to even say if, when the power goes out. I should give you a timeline too. When the power goes out, I'll be giving updates to Aunt BB. Maybe zap a picture or two to her, and maybe she can post them on Twitter and let you guys know if you want to follow Aunt BB on Twitter. Okay, timeline. 4 p.m.-ish, we should start getting some of the series. We got the weather bands now. We have rain. You can look at the satellite images and see why. But we shouldn't be getting the serious winds, even the moderately serious winds, until 4. But then 4 p.m. on Wednesday, and then we're looking at hurricane strength winds. If it stays on course for where it is projected, we should be looking at hurricane strength winds between 12 and 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, which sucks. Because for that, I'll have to be up doing lots of coffee in the dark. Because by then the power will definitely be off. It'll be uncomfortable, but we will be fine. I have my medicine. I have my nitroglycerin tablets just in case. And I'm charging up my cell phone, so we'll be ready to go. We're good. We're good. I appreciate your concern, but it's going to be fine. And even if, and I don't want you to be all concerned, but even if it says, you know what, fuck all you guys, we're going to McDill Air Force Base anyway, and it comes straight up Hillsborough County, we'll be fine. We'll be good. It'll be a little more harrowing. We'll be out of power for quite a bit longer, but we'll still be good. And I'll still be trying to give updates to you on BB. I guess that's it. Unless, of course, you wanted to get into the conspiracy theory stuff, which is kind of what I do. You have to ask yourself. It's been 103 years since a direct hit fucking Tampa. And what's been in Tampa for a long time since I've been here? McDill Air Force Base. I remember, I can't remember, there were two prior to this one. Since I've been here for 23 years, there were two that were scheduled to come up the Gulf and go into, make a direct hit on Tampa. One of them came up and was diverted, just all of a sudden jogged into Sarasota, Punta Gorda. And then there was one that came up and was supposed to come in and hit Tampa. And it jogged into the swampy region down there. Remember that one that hit that swampy area down there? Was almost nothing down there. It was like, here they came, and suddenly they got a little push. Oh, in they go. Before they hit Tampa. Well, what happened here? All the fucking spaghetti models said it's going to come up here and hit Tampa. And it seems like someone gave it a push and kept it at 22.5 until it got to a certain point where when it did start making its northeasterly fucking turn, now it's going to hit below Tampa. I don't know. Some conspiracy theorist out there will make $1 million doing videos saying, oh my God, that's proof. They don't want it to hit McDill Air Force Base. I'm sure some body, really graceful, will probably come out and do that fucking video. Really graceful. And if she does, she should probably give me half of what she makes off of that, because you heard it here first. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying it is interesting. I'm not sure how I will survive tomorrow without coffee. I'll probably be a mess. Me and the animals will be a mess. But they're all going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. Relax. Even if it comes up Hillsborough Bay, I'll still be fine. This is my purgatory. Most people die after a year of being diagnosed with a blood clotting disorder and a DVT. Most people, 47%. I've had 3 of them. I've had a heart attack, COPD. This is purgatory for me. This is my punishment for the life that I led, and it's not going to end now. This is not my parole. I'm not up for parole. So don't worry about me. I'm good. We're all good, and I thank you for your concern. I will give you an update as soon as I can. Cross your fingers. Take care.